Kenneth Walker right now is currently injured at the moment. This is a guy that has not finished in an entire season healthy. He does get an upgrade, with Kubiak as the play caller, which is definitely a bump up, right? I'm excited to
A bump
see,
up only
if
helps
they are
if you can stay on the
healthy in
field.
that
So.
run game. Right. And that's the biggest concern with Walker, right? I mean, his inability to stay on the field. He's already hurt. Like, how many times have we heard, oh, Kenneth Walker, is limited in practice, questionable to play this week. He played 11 games last year, 15 games the year before, and 15 his rookie year. So he's missed a minimum of 2 in every single season, right? And last year he missed the most games of his career with 6. Now, when he was on the field, he was 12th in points per game, 16.5, right? But he does also have a very capable running back behind him in Zach Charbonnet, who goes much farther down the list when you look at guys that are drafted at the running back position. Charbonnet is a guy that, like Jordan Mason, who we brought up before, Charbonnet is a guy that's going just outside the top 100 in many such drafts, where I think Charbonnet is somewhere. I'm pulling it up now. Charbonnet's 115, right? RB 37. And Charbonnet had 3 weeks where he was a top 7 back last year. So when he was given opportunities, he did really well. And I'm not necessarily the biggest Charbonnet fan from a talent standpoint. I know people really liked him, but there is a world, in my opinion, where Kenneth Charbonnet takes this role from Kenneth Walker. I'm telling you, I really wouldn't be surprised. Kenneth
Sure.
Walker again was productive last year, snap share wise 64.3%, opportunity share. He was ranked 11th in the NFL with 72.5. So when he was healthy, he did get a lot of opportunities. But you even look at Charbonnet, who had limited opportunities last year. Kenneth Walker caught 46 passes last year. Zach Charbonnet caught 42 passes last year, right? Which is kind of crazy when you look at the fact that he was 38th in opportunity share with 43.3%. So he got a decent 42 receptions is really, really good. And there are good pass catchers in that offense. So I don't know. I go back and forth on Walker. I really liked him, but the fact that this injury is already coming up, like it concerns me. So I'll go to Ernie first because I went to Hoff first last time. It seems like you're more in on Walker, Ernie. Why don't you sell me on the fact that, Walker is a guy that you should be drafting at this point.
If you take Kenny Walker's games that he played last season, right, and you average it out to over a 17-game season, he finished with 280 PPR fantasy points. So he's a top 10 running back. And then the advanced analytics back that up. Like, I've always loved Kenny Walker, especially when he came out of Michigan State. Like, I actually kind of liked him a little bit more than Brees. I thought he was the better runner. And, when you look at his PFF grades, he was like top 3. He was a top 3 graded running back last year. So I think the only thing holding back Kenny Walker is the injury history, right? And we've seen play like Saquon was the same thing, right? You saw the same thing with Saquon. Oh, he's injury prone. I want nothing to do with him, right? And then these players, they finally, they have a good year, they get with the right whatever it may be, and then they're healthy. That's the thing where it's like, the only thing that concerns me about him, it's not the talent, it's the injury. So it's like, that's why I'm kind of more in on him, because now he's on probably the best team he's ever played on. Seattle's offensive line was kind of messy last year, but is getting better. Like, they have a very good left tackle.
One of offensive linemen retired like week 3 last year or something.
Yeah, like dude, it was insane. And I just think now, like, you have Charles Cross, who the Giants should have drafted over Kayvon Thibodeau. He's a very good left tackle. They drafted Zabel. He's the best interior lineman of the draft. Like, I firmly believe that. I think with Kubiak too, there's so much to like about Kenny Walker, where it's like, I get what you're saying, because it's like, dude, like, if he gets hurt, Charbonnet is a gold mine. Like, we saw it last year. Like, Charbonnet, because I had both of them on one team, and I just put in and he filled right in. Like, he was getting me 20 points a week. But with Kubiak and that zone running offense, dude, like, if Kenny Walker plays 17 games, bro, he is finishing as a top 10 fantasy running back. I take that to the bank. It does he stay healthy. So that's my 2 cents on Kenny Walker.
Yeah, and I get it. The Kubiak thing is really. I want one of them at least. I prefer Alvin Kamara where they're both getting drafted, which is back to back. We're pretty close to it. But the new system, as you said, right, the outside zone, like with Kubiak, like is something that excites me. Hoff, any final thoughts on Ken Walker and is he a guy that you're in on this year?
This is a very unexciting point, but this is how I kind of operate in some of these drafts is if I don't want to deal with a backfield, if I don't want to deal with injuries, I don't do it. If I could draft around it, if I could take other players and other teams, build my team that way, I'm up in 4 picks, I will do that. So to me, I can't trust the Seattle Seahawks backfield. So I'm going to go another way.
That's fair.
If someone draft wise, via cost has to jump in, God bless you. Go ahead. But it's something I'm particularly avoiding. And I mean, that's kind of it's an odd way out of explaining the point, but it's also kind of a way
No, I
to
think it's a
give a
good one.
PSA in terms of drafting. So yeah, that's how I
No,
view
I
it.
think
I just don't want to deal with
that's a
it.
good point.
It just seems very unreliable.
Dude, it's very fair because it's like almost like again, like I'll draft a lot of Kenny Walker on my best ball teams, but I'm one of the guys like I don't burn a pick on Charbonnet, and like that will probably burn me because the only way that gamble is going to work is if Kenny Walker plays 17 games. So that's a really risky gamble on my end. So I actually agree with you, Mike, where it's like, if you are drafting him, you should be drafting both of them, but I think you're just hoping for with all the new offensive line pieces and Kubiak, you're praying for that he finally puts together the healthy season. You get that monster production from him. The one thing I will say, they drafted, I love this. Seattle drafted a 270-pound fullback from Alabama in the 5th round. That got me fired up a little bit. Like, dude, they are going to at least try. They're going to attempt.
He's no Kyle Juszczyk, but yeah, let's do
it. Well, juice.
The only other thing I would say is in terms of I know I'm on the clock now too. But in terms of the running back room, and with Charbonnet last year, Charbonnet was 2nd in the NFL for running backs on routes run. Kind of a nuts stat. He ran the 2nd most routes in the entire NFL. Like I didn't realize that until I just looked at it. Like that's pretty crazy. And I think it just goes to show that he has a floor. Even
did you know you were up for 2 picks or did you get timed out?
I queued him.
Oh, my bad. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But I just think like he provides a good floor. We saw him catch 40 passes last year because he's out there on 3rd downs running routes. And Walker can catch the football too. But I think even if there's not an injury, like if you take Charbonnet, like he could provide a solid floor because of the reception value, even if Walker doesn't get hurt. But let's move on. I do want to get to some of the comments here that we have.
Dude, one last thing though, like his Charbonnet is like built for like a massive workload too. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot to like about him.
No, he absolutely is. I mean, this is a guy that, right now, at least from player profiler, he's 6 foot 214. So he's low to the ground, right? He's not that tall, not short for a running back either, but 214, right? They say his BMI is 29, which I don't even know how player profiler. I think they might just take that from the actual draft stats. I don't know how much they adjust that. Obviously, I don't think his BMI is getting sent out there on a year by year basis. But yeah, I'm with you.
Matthew's here.
Who? Oh, Matt's here now. All right. Well, before you pull Matt up, the last thing I want to pull some questions or some comments.
He left. He didn't like us.
Dak said you guys swayed me on Kamara